Rakhiba, আমি start কৰিছো।
ঠিক আছে।
Okay. Namaskar. A very good evening to all of you. Respected Principal Madam of Haflong Government College, respected Kamakhya Prasad Tasa sir, inaugurator of this program, respected resource person, Professor J. Dangal sir, head of the Department of Political Science at Mizoram University and postdoctoral fellow and University of Cincinnati, having Fulbright fellowship, and faculty members of the Department of Political Science and all the faculties of this, Haflong Government College, and the members of this Center for Ethnic Studies and Research, and all the participants present in the program. So at the very outset, I, as a member of this organizing committee, welcome you all to this international webinar on ethnicity and ethnic mobilization in northeastern states. So now may I request Dr. Rakimoni Gogoi, head of the Department of Political Science, this program, to initiate the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dipen. Good evening to the esteemed members of the webinar. Welcome you all to the international webinar, Ethnicity and Ethnic Mobilization. It is organized by Department of Political Science, Haflong Government College, in collaboration with the IQAC, Haflong Government College, and in association with the Center for Ethnic Studies and Research Center. I welcome you all to the webinar, and at first, I request our principal Haflong Government College, Mrs. Nodusha Dalagapu, to deliver the welcome address. Madam, please.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege to welcome you all to the international webinar on ethnicity and ethnic mobilization in Northeast India, which is organized by our Department of Political Science in collaboration with IQAC, Haflong Government College, and in association with Center for Ethnic Studies and Research, Guwahati. It gives me great pleasure and a sense of pride that during these tough times of pandemic, the teaching faculty of my college, especially the Department of Political Science, took the initiative of conducting this webinar. Though sometimes our district faces problems in internet connectivity, still my faculty took up this challenge, which is highly appreciable. The topic of the webinar is most relevant to our district, as our district, in a way of speaking, showcases the entire Northeast India, as our district has so many different tribes with different culture, languages, and traditions. All these tribes coexist and live in harmony, but sometimes there are contradictions also. I am waiting to hear from Professor Jangpungang Gowel and of the discussions. I'm sure the outcome will definitely be a beneficial one, and I wish all success to this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, for the welcome speech. Thank you for all the encouragement, because I'm also very much afraid of this thing, like internet problem is always crop up. But even then, thank you, Madam, for all the helping. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Member of Parliament or Rajya Sabha, Sri Kamakhya Prasad Tasa sir, to inaugurate the international webinar. He is one of the most vibrant, young, and dynamic leader of the Assam at present time, and we would like to hear from him. Sir, please.
Namaskar. I am very happy that I am getting chance to inaugurate this international webinar on ethnicity and ethnic mobilization in Northeast India, which is hosted by Haflong College. I thank everyone and good evening to all. Professor Dongal, I think he is in Germany. As I am told, I thank Mr. Dipan Das that he contracted me. You all the faculties who are participating in this webinar. I think you are all learned person and you know about the ethnicity and ethnic mobilization in Northeast India. You know, it is a very complicated subject, not complicated, but the people make it complicated as ethnic. When this word ethnic comes, it seems, I don't want to disclose everything, but people are, I think they feel that it is a complex system of Indian societies. I don't know about the ethnic, I know a little bit about the ethnic movement of various countries of the world. But in Northeast India and India, in India particularly, ethnicity is now it is a most precious thing which everyone spokes. Ethnicity, you know better that what is ethnicity. We can say it is soil of the people belongs to the soil, the son of soils, Adivasis, and many things, words it is used for ethnicity. Now I have seen, you know, the India ethnicity, our ethnic population is very complicated. In modern time, it is now getting more complicated day by day because ethnicity is disturbed by the system, by the what you call the modern system, which touches the ethnicity of the people of the society. People are now getting modernized and not modernized, but many people, many class of people are now become ultra modern. They have forgotten their ethnicity and they think that the ethnicity is the oldest system that prevails amongst the society. If you move, principal of Haflong College, belongs to Dima Hasao, and many people who are connected with the ethnic people. What is ethnic people? You will see now in restaurants, ethnic foods is available, ethnic clothes is available, but ethnic culture, what is that? Culture is the most important. When culture, you know, loss of indigenous faith is loss of culture, and loss of culture means loss of identity. But people are not interested in saving their identity. They only says that we are ethnic people, we are the aboriginals, and many things. But day by day, due to modernization and actually modernization, urbanization, it is now touches the heart of the ethnic movement. Many organizations I have seen, they are now coming to protect the what you call the ethnic culture and ethnicity, and many people who are now fighting for their own what you call identity to save the ethnicity. But I've seen in many functions that the ethnic culture is being performed by the non-ethnic people. The students, new generation who are from ethnic classes, that they now become modern. If you go to visit Delhi, the students reading in Delhi and metropolitan cities, they are no more. They are no more saying that they are ethnic people. And all the faculties, you know about the ethnic people of Northeast and the Nagas and the what you call Khasi, Mizo, everything. They are now becoming modern. It is not a it is a call of time. I think time is changing and people are also moving. If you I visit as a not as a politician but as a student of political science, I visit the ethnic villages and they are now become ethnic. And what you say, the ethnicity which denotes many things. The Aboriginal people, they have got culture, they have got language, they have got what is not language and dialects also. They are now, everyone is interested in protecting the this ethnicity in Northeast. Especially I have seen in Assam, the missing people and other Boros, Karbis, Dimasas, and other Rabhas, which are, we have given autonomy to the people. They are now in the way of modernization, but still the people of the rural, basically the rural people are now protecting their ethnic culture. But you see, both should be in the way, modernization and ethnicity, that should be protected. Modernization, we need modernization, and we have to protect the ethnicity. The mobilization of ethnicity, what you call now, it is become what you call they are very much interested in protect themselves. The small groups, maximum ethnic groups are small groups. If you look to the northeast India, we have got only in Assam we have got a population of 3. More than 3 crore, 3.20 crore, and in other states, Nagaland, Mizoram, they have small portion of small population, but they are very rich in their culture, their society, which very much important for us. In everywhere, I have seen in welcoming when I visited with Honorable Prime President of India to many nations. They produces the ethnic culture and ethnic dances, ethnic foods, etc. But now it is in danger position. The ethnicity, the mobilization of ethnicity now become a political issue also. Many people we have separated British during the British time. They have what you call divide and rule policy. They have adopted, and they have divided the ethnic people in many groups. Though from very early stage there are conflicts amongst these ethnic groups. Some ethnic groups are what you call they are influenced by this British system, and now they are realizing that ethnicity should be there, and mobilization, which is or we mobilize in a various way by cultural system, by political system, by social system to protect. And when people are going to protect this, they are facing lots of problems. The faculties may know that the inter-conflict of the ethnic groups now become a very critical matter. And modernization, though we are on the way of modernization, we are going to protect this ethnicity. I think I'll not speak more because the faculties are there who will contribute it, and Mr. Dongal, who is a very learned person, and you all are learned person participating in this seminar, and I've got the chance to address you. I request you all to protect the ethnic system of the society, and by protecting the ethnic society doesn't mean that we are not moving towards modernization. Modernization should be there, urbanization should be there, and ethnic protection should be there. People are taking advantage in Assam, in India. You see, Constitution have provided lots of rules, acts, and which is very much giving the chances to uplift the societies, providing financial, financial help, society, protecting their rights in various what you call the acts by giving this tribes status. People are now more than 600 tribes are asking their scheduled tribes status, including 6 communities of Assam. They are demanding for what you call means ST means I denotes that the ethnic system, which they denotes they want to preserve their ethnic system, they want to develop their society. After developing also, they want to protect it. So I request all the faculties, the learned, all the participants to go through this, and you should teach the students how to protect this by the ethnic system, ethnic ethnology, and mobilization, which it is not a political matter, but the politicians and everyone takes the advantage of this system. The maximum time I have seen that to protect the ethnic system, they take some what you call the hingsa and ahimsa, both they are taking parts. But the learned people like us should protect and honor the ethnic system, and mobilization should be there. All ethnic people should be united and should fight for the rights. It is now, I think, tribal belt and blocks are there, which is encroached by the non-tribal people. It is now going on. And to protect the ethnic system, the youths are also fighting by taking guns and everything, but it should not be solved by the guns. It should be solved by the institutional system, which is provided by the Constitution of India. We should follow the Constitution of India, and ethnicity which is protected by the Constitution. Under this Constitution, we can protect our ethnicity, and mobilization should be there. Many organizations are trying to protect the ethnicity and trying to mobilize, either by institutional or non-institutional way. So I request you all that you should teach the students, we should know the language of the ethnic tribes, dialects of the ethnic tribes. We should follow the, what you call their system, which is best system of the world, I think. I have seen the missing horse, you have seen the Dimasa's houses, you have seen the style, the everything. It is now. It is now, it should be protected. Otherwise, we have to keep in this all in museums. In Delhi, the government of India is, what you call, they have opened a department, ministry, that is tribal affairs, and by the tribes of India. You should visit the tribes of India, which will get many things which is very precious now. So I request all the faculties to take the, what you call, take this to the students, to the intellectual class, and we should honor the ethnic movement, and ethnic mobilization should be there. Ethnic mobilization will give a new dimension to the Northeast people, and it will unite all the people of Northeast, not only Northeast, but I believe that in India, it will be a unique system, unique culture, which they want to see. When I ask someone, they asked about me, about the Nagas, about the Dimasas, about the Karbis, about the Bodos, about the Arunachal, the people of tribes of Arunachal, tribes of Manipur, tribes of Tripura. They want to, they are very eager to know about this. And we should give a chance to the people, give the chance to the ethnic tribes to, what you call, establish themselves in the greater India, which is vast more, which is 120 to 10 crore people. We have to establish them, and I request all the faculties to do this. Please, I am very happy that you have invited me to inaugurate this. I am not an expert of this social system, but I have related to the people above politics, above parochial system, above the parochial thinkings, above this everything. We have to establish the ethnic system, and we have to honor the ethnic mobilization in Northeast India, which with this small amount of, we are very small in population. You see, we have got in Northeast, we have got only, I think it will cross hardly 5 crore, which the ethnic class, ethnic movement, ethnic everything, ethnicity will establish on Northeast in Greater India, not only India, in the world. And Mr. Dongal is working in German, which is Germany, which is very, I thank you. And I request Dr. Dongal to take us to Germany also to see the ethnic system, how they are working and how they have protected their, what you call, tribes and castes. So thank you very much, giving the opportunity to speak and join with you. I'm very happy. In future, I thanks to Dipan Das and the organizing committee, Haflong College, and mobilize the politicians also, because politicians always says that politicians wants to divide the society. Sometimes I'm in politics, but I have seen the politicians, some political systems, organization, they want to establish themselves by in the lieu of this ethnicity. So give a big, what you call, scope to the ethnic people and ethnic population, ethnic system. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. Now, without any delay, I would like to invite our resource person, Professor Zangkhongam Dongal, sir, to address the webinar. But before that, I would like to introduce Professor Dongal, sir, who served in the Mizoram University and now in a very prestigious Fulbright Research Scholar. And he is working in Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati, Ohio State of the USA, United States of America. Professor Dongal, or Zangkhongam Dongal, sir, he is one of the most, most brilliant, or what to say, he is one of the most knowledgeable person in the ethnicity at present time and ethnic identity. He has wrote many papers. He has delivered many this national lectures in national and international seminars, 24 papers in the journals, 22 papers in edited volumes, 4 papers in the proceedings, and he also successfully guided many research scholars under him. He has many PhD scholars under him and MPhil scholars. He is now he is now doing his senior research fellowship in the University of Cincinnati. Now may I request Dongal sir to deliver to address the session. Please, sir.
Thank you. Okay, morning, Gogoi. Before I start my speech, I would like to request the participants to kindly mute yourself, because from time to time we have heard unnecessary sounds. That's why those of the participants who do not mute yourself, please mute yourself so that you will not be a disturbance for the participants and for the one who is speaking here. And up till now, I have found some participants not muting yourself, and it's still distraction. Yeah, I prepared a PPT, and I would like to share the. I'm thankful.
Yes, you can share your
Has
PPT.
requested me again, and so at a short notice, anyway, I accept the request, and today we will have time for interaction. And Dipendas has introduced me as head of department. I'm not head of department now. That I'd like to clarify. I was head of the department from 2013 up to 2016. So after that, I am relieved of the headship responsibility. In fact, I'm now director of the internal quality assurance here of the university. But as I'm out of station, that charge also has been taken by registrar of the university right now. And our chief guest has mentioned me as I'm in Germany. I'm not in Germany. So as our chairperson has said, I am in University of Cincinnati in United States of America, and I'm working on the Native Americans. So that is my research field, research project now. I'm working on the constitutional safeguards of indigenous people with comparative analysis on sixth schedule provision and Native Americans governance under the Constitution of United States of America. So I'm not in Germany, I'm in United States of America. So Japan, I will be glad if you help me how to upload this, my PPT. Can you see it?
No, sir, it has not come yet.
Can you see it?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet.
Not yet, sir.
Can you see it?
Sorry, it's not coming. Has started screening. Yes, sir. It might be. Ethnicity. Yes, sir. It's coming. Ethnicity and ethnic
It's
mobilization.
coming now. Okay, let me start.
Coming. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
now.
yeah. In case if there is any lapse, kindly inform me. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So, as it is highlighted in the program, we will deliberate on ethnicity and ethnic mobilization in Northeast India. So now we shall briefly look at the background of ethnicity in Northeast India. As we know, Northeast India is predominantly numerous tribes, sub-tribes, different characters of northeastern part of the country, multilingual, multi-ethnic, and multi-religious region with tribal dominance. And out of the 7 original northeastern states of India, now including Sikkim, we are 8. Assam, Manipur, and Tripura are the state where non-tribal constitute majority. Mizoram, Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Arunachal Pradesh are the states where tribal constitute majority. But even in the non-tribal, majority of Manipur and tribal own more land than the non-tribal. The reason being, in Manipur, out of the total geographical area of 20,889 square kilometers, 92% of the geographical area of Manipur is occupied by the tribal people. Likewise, in Tripura, 68% of the area is occupied by the tribal people. So even in the 2 non-tribal states, almost all the so to say, more than 70–80% of the geographical area of the state has been inhabited by the tribal. So every state of Northeast has got its own history, and all this history taken together constitute history of the Northeast India. And so far as the northeastern part of the country is concerned, this linguistic family is Mon-Khmer group and usually includes Bodos, Karbi, then in Assam, Nagas in Assam, Nagaland, and Manipur, then Chin Kuki Mizo group, all Zo ethnic group in Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, Meghalaya, and Mizoram, then in Tripura, then Monpas, Apantanis, and Arunachali group in Arunachal Pradesh. Then there have been ethnic mixture between Tibeto-Burman and the Thai Siamese, wherever they live together in Brahmaputra Valley or Manipur Valley. And this process of migration and settlement was part of the struggle for economic and social survival and political dominance. Then from time to time, there were various ethnic groups leading to integration and assimilation. So these tribal villages adjacent to Brahmaputra were conquered by the invading Ahoms, and Indo-Aryans who migrated from the west also established their political supremacy over the plain tribes, and that usually led to assimilation and Hinduization of many plain tribes in lower and upper Assam. So a new phase of history of Northeast India and tribal history started with penetration of the British, the region, and not ethnicity. The word ethnic is derived from the Greek word ethnikos, which literally means nations not converted into Christianity, races or large groups of people having common traits, and groups in an exotic primitive culture. So ethnic means, in the interpretation of the Greek, those people who were not converted to Christianity in the beginning of Christian era and who maintain their traditionality. It was defined in such way in the Greek concept. And how this ethnic has been defined in the Oxford Dictionary. People belonging to a nation, race, or people who share the same cultural tradition. So people who share the same cultural tradition. And ethnic also means people or tribes who share the same historical origin, who are related culturally, historically, and who are related by blood. And ethnic group also comprises of belief in real or assumed antecedent, which may be subjective in nature. Then ethnic also means attachment with geographical center, which may be symbolic or real. It also means sharing cultural symbols or elements. It also means awareness for self-ascribed distinctive character which should be recognized. And this ethnic group can be defined as any hereditary group which shares value, style of life, symbol of identity, and conscience. So ethnicity is the process of ethnic mobilization by its leadership through the selected use of ethnic symbols for socio-cultural and political economic purposes. And in ethnicity has been introduced which surfaces when a use of primordial bases like culture extras. So in such a way, ethnicity occupation of territory and through racial ideological dimension. In the sense, is mental, historical, and ethnic mobilization is not restricted by national or international boundary. That we should keep into ethnicity and ethnic mobilization goes beyond the national boundary and international boundary. And now we come and evolve. The evolvement of this constant breakdown of traditional normative structure and increasing impetus to ideologies of democracy, equality, and distributive justice. So due to development of democracy, equality, and concept of distributive justice, ethnic group may have the intention to mobilize themselves. Then increasing interventionist role of the state followed by penetration of state activities in the local realm with monolithic intervention from the state makes a claim for ethnicity. And now, so mixed status of not the British started coming to India as a trading company, East India Company, in 1000 AD, but northeastern part of the country began to be experienced or began to be encroached by the British after many years. S.K. Chaubi stated in his book that 1761 may be the first year when he came into contact with North because joint forces of East India Company and Nawab of Bengal attacked Tripura in 1761. But after that, the British left and they didn't have any impact in Northeast. But the first contact with which the British or the British East India Company began to have with the Northeast could be traced back to obtainment of the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa by Robert Clive from Mughal Emperor Shah Alam in 1765. So from that time onwards, the British started interfering in internal administration of Northeast India. Then after at Yandabo on Treaty of Yandabo. So they opened the gate for British entry one after another. And Hills was the first territory to be annexed 1822. This was the only area annexed before the signing of Treaty of Yandabo. And after that, Golpora was annexed in 1826, Kasar in 1832, in 1830, North Kasar Hills in 1854, Naga Hills in 1866, Zentia Hills in 1883. Northeast frontier tracts or region Arunachal Pradesh was occupied since 1914, and it was occupied since 1842 and completely annexed in 1914. The Lusai Hills was occupied since 1891, but it was annexed to British Empire on 6 September 1895. And so when the British ruler came, they came with the missionaries to spread Christianity. And in the initial stage, tribals were reluctant, and as a result of conversion to Christianity, adopted the lifestyle of outside education to tribal, but the literary education which they received from that, the tribal began to know the importance and benefit of education. So before introduction of Christianity and Western education in organization to deal with the needs of the tribal people. And during that time, its village was responsible for its own economic, social, spiritual, and political needs, and there was lack of interaction. But the introduction of administrative system, the British also adopted certain administrative measures to protect the tribe. Some specific laws were introduced exclusively for the tribals, like Regulation 10 of 1822, Garo Hills Act 1869, then Schedule District 1874, Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation of India of 1935. In such a way, before they will declare as backward tracts by the government of India of 1919 and declare as excluded and partially excluded areas by the of 1935. So after they began to have awareness, the tribal
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir. It's trailing. We can't hear you, sir. Sir, you are not audible, sir. Sir, your voice is, it's not clear.
Sir, kindly secure in network status internet.
and people of Northeast were concerned with preservation of their ethnic identity, and they also wanted to develop their
So it's
economy,
trailing, sir.
their political system. This awareness led to mobilization.
Sir, we can't hear you, and then your voice is tracking a lot. So you may kindly check your internet connection.
So you can switch to mobile also, sir, if possible.
Please inform me.
Yes, sir, carry on.
Can you see the screen? Moni?
No, sir.
Sir, please kindly. Sir, please kindly start it again from the page 16.
Okay. Can you see?
No, sir. No, sir.
Is it the
No, sir, it's not visible.
Is it coming, the screen?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. It is now. It is coming.
Okay, okay.
So please from page 16, this
16.
yes, sir. They are requesting, the participants requesting from page 16.
Oh,
Yes, from this one, 16.
so from ethnic status.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. The British started coming to India as a trader, as East India Company in 1600 AD. And S.K. Chobi stated in his book that 17 was the first arrival of the British in India. Those in 1761 joined forces of East India Company and Nawab of Bengal attacked Tripura. But the British did not remain and they didn't interfere in affairs of Northeast after that. So the first interference of the British East India Company or the British Empire in Northeast India could be traced back to 1765. In 1765 of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa from Mughal Emperor Shah Alam. And after that, the British continuously
Sorry, it is
interfere in affairs of Northeast India. As the whole Northeast India was Anglo-Burmese war, and the Burmese were defeated and they were driven out from Brahmaputra Valley and Manipur Valley by the British forces. One treaty
Sir, your voice is not coming and it's tracking a lot. So I think you may kindly put off the videos and then with audio on. I think that will work.
signed, which was known as Treaty of Yanbo. This Treaty of Yanbo was signed on 24th February 1826, and this signing of Treaty of Yanbo opened the gate for the British to another. And in fact, okay, I think I'm audible, isn't it? Am I audible?
Picking up, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible, but it is tracking a lot. Maybe you may put off your videos. I think that will work better.
I think I've already put the video.
Yes, sir.
So the screen can be seen now.
Yes, yes, the screen is
PPT.
visible and your voice is also coming now, sir. You may carry on.
Okay, we'll carry on. That will be better. Yeah. So this province of Assam was also creation of British imperialism to serve its own purpose. And after the signing of Treaty of Yanbo, these tribal territories were annexed one after another in the British Great Province of Assam. Garo Hills was the first tribal territory and the first territory in Assam to be annexed by British in 1822, and other areas were annexed after the signing of the Treaty of Yanbo. Golpara in 1826, Kasar in 1832, Khasi Hills in 1835, North Kasar Hills in 1854, Naga Hills in 1866, Zentia Hills in 1883, Northeast Frontier Tracts was occupied since 1842 and it was occupied since 1891 and it was annexed on 6 September 1895. And in the initial stage, these tribals were reluctant to accept Christianity, but they were converted to Christianity afterwards. And as a result of conversion to Christianity, various tribes abandoned their traditional custom and culture and adopt new life, new style of life. And the missionary also imparted school, established school and impart education to tribals, but higher education was not introduced. So with the little education that they received, the tribal began to be aware of their status, began to be aware of their economic, social, spiritual, and political needs, and they knew the importance of this modern life. And it created awareness among the people of Northeast in general and the tribal people in particular. So over and above that, the British introduced many laws and regulations specifically for protection of the tribals, like regulation 10 of 1822, Garo Hills Act of 1869, Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation 1873, Scheduled District Act 1874, Government of India of 1919, then Government of India of 1935. And tribal areas of Assam will declare as scheduled district by scheduled district in 74. Backward tracks by the Government of India of 1919 and excluded and partially excluded areas by the Government of India of 1930. And as of awareness that the tribal began to know the necessity and use for protection of their identity and for their own, which led to formation of Zentia Darbar in 1980, Khasi National Darbar in 1923, Khasi 18, Naga Hills District Council in Nigeria Freedom Organization was formed in 1947. Awareness gave ethnic conscious people of Northeast India, particularly era. And now ethnic movement coming of colonial ruler. Tribal from Lusai Hills, Garo Hills, Khasi were in the habit of raiding the plain. And due to that, plain people consider the hillmen as barbaric because of their raid and plunder. And on the other hand, the hillmen look down upon the plain people as weak people. In such these raids in the plain area continued even after the coming of colonial ruler. And these raids of the plain areas to of tribal area to British administration. Christianization, the concept of the tribal, the thinking of the tribal also changed. And due to these missionaries and British administrators, tribals began to have awareness and they began to know that they were backward and savage people. and introduction of modern hygiene, medicine, dress, haircut, school, church by the missionaries also began to serve as eye-opener to the tribals. And as they began to realize their identity, they knew that they were different from the plain Hindus and Muslims. They knew that they require protection. They knew that their identity needs to be protected. And all those awareness began to be inculcated in their mind as a result of educational and political consciousness. So ethnic movement in Northeast shall be assessed as given below. And I will briefly assess the ethnic mobilization in the Northeast India in state-wise, starting with Nagaland. So ethnic movement in Northeast started with the movement of Naga National Council. The Naga Club had already requested Simon Commission in 1929 to keep the Naga Hills out of the proposed reform. Instead of being included under reform administration, they wanted to remain under British control so that they might get independence after the British left India. And after signing of the 9-point Hyderabad Agreement with Governor Akbar Hyder, the Nagas unilaterally declared independence on 14 August 1947. And so the Nagas unilaterally declared independence, and along with that, all elections conducted by Government of India in Naga Hills was boycotted, whether it be District Council, Vidhan Sabha, Lok Sabha. Elections were boycotted. This boycott of election led to boycott of 6th schedule provision, and due to that, District Council under 6th schedule provision could not be formed in Naga Hills. And Nagas had a long history of insurgency in post-independent era, and it was the first insurgency movement in India, this Naga movement. And this Naga movement was spearheaded by Naga National Council. And in the early 80s, from this Naga National Council, new outfit was formed by Twingeling Muiwa and Isak Shu, known as National Socialist Council of Nagaland. So NNC was bifurcated into NNC and NSCN. Then afterwards, from NNC, two factions came up, NNC Adino and NNC Kodao Yantan. Then from NSCN, it led to NSCN IM, Isak Muiwa, NSCN Haflong, NSCN Unification, and NSCN Reformation. In such a way, the movement was going on, and as we know, now ceasefire is going on, and peace talk is in the process between NSCN IM and Government of India. And the important thing about this Naga movement was that once Naga ethnic movement started in Naga Hills, it had its impact upon the Naga-dominated areas of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, and Burma. In such a way, this ethnic link and ethnicity was so strong that the ethnic movement of Nagas in Naga Hills had its impact upon the blood-related Naga groups in the neighboring states of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, and even up to Burma. That's why, as I mentioned in the beginning, this ethnic movement or this ethnic influence cannot be restricted by national and international boundary. Then, in the initial states of independence of India, Naga Hills was bifurcated into two under 6th schedule provision. So Rest of the Naga Hills was included in Part A of the schedule in paragraph 20, which should be accorded Autonomous District Council. But the present Eastern Nagaland, the group which formed Eastern Nagaland, earlier known as Tuansang area, was in Part B, and it was amalgamated with Northeast Frontier Tracts. And from this Northeast Frontier Tracts, 5 administrative division was created, and this Tuansang area was included as the 6th administrative division under Part B of the 6th schedule. And these Nagas, whether underground or overground, could not accept slicing away of Naga territory and adding with other territory. So the overground Naga formed Naga People's Convention, and this Naga People Convention had met in Kohima in 1957, and they demanded for re-amalgamation of these Tuansang area and Naga Hills. As a result of that demand, the schedule was amended in 1957 itself, and with the amalgamation of Naga Hills and Tuansang area, one new administrative unit known as Naga Hills Tuansang area, NHTA, was created on 1st December 1957. Then the Naga People's Convention was called again at Mokokchung Ungma village in 1958, and the third convention was called again at 1959. And this second and third convention drafted 16-point proposal and demanded for upgradation of this Naga Hills Tuansang area into the state of Nagaland. So the first NPC led to formation of Naga Hills Tuansang area, and second and third NPC led to creation of the state of Nagaland. So this Naga Hills, Naga movement, what I would like to mention is that it is a strong movement, but it is based more on political consideration than ethnic identity. The reason being, even now, some Zo-ethnic tribes such as Anal, Lokang, Maring, Moyon, Monsang, Purum, they too participate in this Naga movement because of its influential role and because of its strong movement. And in this Naga movement, NSF, Naga Student Federation, played a great role for still influence Naga ethnic group outside Nagaland because of the strong ethnic bond. Then now coming over to Manipur. In Manipur, secessionist activities started in 1948 when Hiyam Irabot tried to liberate Manipur from semi-colonialism of the King of Manipur. And in Manipur, one thing should be certain was that there was no such strong insurgency movement, particularly in Manipur Valley till early 80s. But hill areas of Manipur were under the influence of Naga National Council and Mizo National Front. Naga National Council influenced and dominated Naga-dominated areas of Manipur. Likewise, with the declaration of independence of Mizoram, unilateral declaration of independence of Mizoram by Mizo National Front on 1st March 1966, MNF influence was strongly felt among the Chin Kuki Mizo group, also ethnic dominated areas in Manipur. And many tribes from the Zo ethnic groups, they joined the MNF movement, and in such a way, Manipur was being disturbed by influence of NNC and MNF. NNC, Naga National Council in Naga dominated, and Mizo National Front in Kuki, Chin. Also, far as the Meitei ethnicity was concerned, Meitei ethnicity also resulted in the formation of United National Liberation Front, then Kanglipao Communist Party, etc. But in 1950s and in 1960s, the hill areas were already under the influence of NNC and MNF, and strong ethnic and insurgency movement could be experienced in Manipur due to the ethnic bond and ethnic link. And this ethnicity in Manipur can be classified as Meitei group, Meitei Pangan or Manipuri Muslim, Naga group, and Chin Kuki Mizo group, also ethnic. Then up till now, Manipur is the hotbed of ethnic crisis because insurgency erupted from time to time. Then ethnic tension, ethnic class, and ethnic movement is experienced now and on. And sometimes there was class between Meitei and Meitei Pangan, then ethnic class between Kuki and Nagas, then ethnic class within the same ethnic group also. In such a way, ethnicity is still a problem in Manipur. And now coming over to Tripura. So in Tripura also, ethnic movement is so strong. The origin of insurgency in Tripura is the conflict between Bengalis and tribals. The tribal people in Tripura have been outnumbered in their own land by the Bengali infiltrators from Bangladesh. And the state has now only 31% tribal population and who are alienated in their own ancestral land. And due to this, Bijoy Kumar Rangkol started National Volunteers, TNV, in 70s, and violent revolution was spearheaded. Then in the early 80s, Bijoy Rangkol signed agreement with state government and he returned to mainstream life. And even after the exit of TNV, new outfit, National Liberation Front of Tripura and all Tripura Tiger forces spearheaded insurgency activities again. And in such a way, in order to protect the tribals and to pay attention to the tribals, Tripura Tribal Area Autonomous District Council, TTADC, was formed in 1982. And due to constant demand of the tribals, it was included under 6th Schedule Provision 85. But even now, this TTADC is not accorded full constitutional rights. There is even now, land is not handed over to TTADC. Then, as per the 6th Schedule provision, particularly in autonomous council, non-tribal should not have voting rights and contesting rights. But all those are still not accorded properly to TTADC, so in some ADC in Northeast India. And in such a way, even now, ethnicity is still an ongoing issue in Tripura, and ethnic movement and ethnic mobilization is still going on. Assam claims imposed independent area. So ethnic polarization and creation from Assam. And as I've mentioned, political Assam was administrative arrangement of the British. Political Assam did not come out by itself. It was creation of British imperialism. Earlier, there was Kasari Kingdom in Upper Assam, but Kasari Kingdom was invaded, as we know, by the Ahom and over the Bodo conquer Assam. But Bodo Ahom rulers, Ahom kingdom also did not occupy and control the whole Assam territories at that time. And as we know, due to administrative arrangement of the British, many hill territories like Lusai Hills, Naga Hills, Khasi Hills, Garo Hills, and Northeast Frontier Tracts, they were made part of Assam. And so the administrative Assam or modern Assam, as we know, it has been creation of the British imperialism. And even after the creation of four states from tribal territories, which the movement spearheaded by National Democratic Front of Bodoland, then Bodo Liberation Tigers, and Bodoland Tigers Force. Besides the movement of the APSU. And now there are many ethnic-based insurgent organizations in Assam. Almost all the ethnic groups they have
Sir, your voice is not coming, sir.
Nagal sir, your network is so poor, so we are unable to listen your voice, sir.
Sir, you can switch on to only this, you can switch on to your PPP, sir. Then it might be impossible because many times PowerPoint presentation itself affected voice problem. Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
insurgent organization.
Rakiba,
Oh,
yes, I think I should call him. Nagal sir, your voice is not clear, sir. I think you should stop your video, then your network may be good, I think, sir.
And
Dr. Zogesh Das,
Yes.
what we can do?
ethnic class also took place within Assam, like Kalbi Kuki class, Dimasa Mar class, Dimasa Kalbi, Dimasa Naga class, Bodo Bengali psychological conflict in such a way, like sometime even within the Bengali English speaking.
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir.
Hindus also their class. So yes, we know ethnic problem. And now the six scheduled tribes. But after these 6 plain tribes, many plain tribes are now demanding issues here and there, even in Assam. So Assam coming over to Mizo ethnicity for independence of Mizoram lasted for 2 decades, yes, we know. And as I've mentioned, unification and independence of the tribes in Manipur, Assam, and many of the conglomerates who participated and took up arms for only due to ethnic link, as I've mentioned, restricted or controlled by the case with MNF movement or Naga movement. And this ethnic insurgent from the same ethnic stock, so ethnic mobilization and ethnic movement took place sometime. But some of the Zo ethnic group also earlier, but not now. Earlier, 90s, then Paites also demanded regional council in the early 50s and 60s. And Zo reunification organization now tries to unify all these cognate tribes of India, Myanmar, and Bangladesh, and ethnic movement is in the process. And even from the ethnic group, like southern part of Mizoram, Lai, who were known as Poi, Mara, who were known as Dalakar, they also raise certain demands such as higher political status, union territory, and direct funding. So what I would like to mention is that even within Mizoram, even within the same ethnic group also, some ethnic issue crop up from time to time. Young Lai Association and Marathon, there was ethnic issue. So far as Mizoram is concerned, the police the border has been championed by Zoro 88, and the same policy also has been applied now regularly organized student bodies, student organization from the Zoro ethnic group from neighboring states like Manipur, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, even up to Nagaland, then Burma and Bangladesh, they were invited and they had interaction. And due to this persistent policy of Zoro and MZP, now there is ethnic awareness in Mizoram, and all civil societies and political parties in Mizoram are now professing this unification of the Zo ethnic group. In such a way, as I've mentioned, even in Mizoram also, ethnic issue of ethnic mobilization place, not from outside, but even from the same ethnic group. And many a time, Bru and Chakma often put some state government and civil society of Mizoram in and many issues, many ethnic things have taken place. And now one of the main issue in Mizoram is classification of the inhabitants on the basis of Zo-ethnic and non-Zo-ethnic. And this also created a lot of issue, whatever be the case. So what I would like to mention is that Mizoram is also being continuously disturbed by this ethnic issue. And coming over to Meghalaya, Ethnic movement in Meghalaya was mobilized in the initial stage by Zantia Darbar, Khasi National and Garo National Council. And after independence, Eastern India Tribal Union was formed in the 50s. And from the platform of this Eastern India Tribal Union, all tribal territories from Khasi Hills, Garo Hills, Zantia Hills, Lusai Hills, then and even Mikir Hills, not Kasar Hills. They participated and they made a demand for formation of state for the tribal territories. And after the signing of agreement with these A2 leaders, A2 leader Captain W.S. Sangma was inducted as cabinet minister in Assam. But because of Assamese language issue, this party leaders conference in the 60s. And all the tribal hill districts, they combined together under under this APHLC, but in the initial stage, only Garo Hills, Khasi Hills, and Zantia Hills remain. And from the platform of this APHLC, autonomous state of Meghalaya was obtained in 1970, and this autonomous state of Meghalaya was upgraded to state of Meghalaya in 1972. So the formation of this Meghalaya could also be traced back to ethnic movement and ethnic mobilization. And even after formation of Meghalaya is continuously disturbed by ethnic problem. Why? The ethnic problem in Meghalaya was caused due to feeling of insecurity by the natives, such as Zantia, Garo, and Khasis. Because even now, there are many non-tribal settlers in Meghalaya. Because of these many non-tribal settlers in Meghalaya, the tribal ethnic group, they feel insecure. And due to this, ethnic tension could be seen in Meghalaya from time to time. And insurgency also erupted in Meghalaya after the formation of Assam, because these Khasi and Garo youths were influenced by Ulfa, and which led to formation of some insurgent group in Meghalaya like Hinutrep Achik Liberation Council, Hinutrep National Liberation Council, and Achik Liberation Magrik Army. In such a way, even Meghalaya is still inflicted by ethnic problem. And there is now strong demand for ILP in the state. So Meghalaya is also still inflicted by ethnic problem. And coming to Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh can be described as the state which has been protected ethnically from the influence of outsiders. And in Arunachal Pradesh, ethnic organization on insurgent organized on ethnic consideration failed to function. And these tribes of Arunachal Pradesh, they have outside phobia and they are very protected. And ethnic problem and ethnic issue is also dear among the tribes, within the tribes also. And so far as Arunachal Pradesh is concerned, ILP is still enforcing the state for protecting the tribes from encroachment and exploitation from outsiders. In such a way, this Arunachal Pradesh is well protected, but even in Arunachal Pradesh, whether within or from outside, it is being disturbed by ethnic. So what I would like to mention, no state in Northeast India is 100% ethnic issue free. All states in Northeast India, they have ethnic in their own way. Okay, we'll come to the concluding remark. Northeast India is one of the most complex spots in Asia with over 200 ethnic groups, languages, and dialects. Therefore, ethnicity is the most problematic issue in Northeast India. All states have their own ethnic issue with varying dimensions. So, in some states, the degree may be low. In some states, the degree may be high. All states, they have their own ethnic issue. And ethnic issue usually crop up between different ethnic communities like Manipur and Assam. On the other hand, ethnic issue also crop up in homogeneous ethnic states like Mizoram and Nagaland. As I've said, Nagaland is dominated by the Naga ethnic group. Mizoram is also dominated by the Zo ethnic group. But even in Nagaland and Mizoram also, though it is not ethnically free. Therefore, no Northeast state is free from ethnic issue and problems of ethnicity. All political problems in Northeast also. Most of the political problems, they originate mentioned. Some states like Mizoram and Nagaland, we have the same kindred tribes also. They still face some problem. In Nagaland have great influence over their kindred ethnic tribes across the state. It is a complex issue. Its mishandling can be a threat to national integration. So ethnic issues should not be politicized. It should be taken maturely on historical and sociological consideration. Okay. Thank you all for your patience. With this, let me conclude my speech. And if there is any query or if there is anything to discuss, now let me hand over the time to the chairperson.
Thank you, sir. It is a highly enlightened deliberation, and we are very much thank you for this. Is one of the best thing that we have organized this thing, the ethnicity, because we can listen to you. Now it is open for a discussion, and if anyone have any questions, please you can ask, sir, and you can unmute in the chat box also. Please, sir. Sir, there's a one question. Sir, how far active role of social organization on ethnic problems in Northeast India? How far active role of social organization on ethnic problems of Northeast India? From Samir Pegu.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good question, and it's a relevant question also. What the thing that we have to know is that without social organization and civil societies, even the administration is helpless. Like whenever some ethnic tension or some ethnic problem crop up, though the state government or administration try its level best, without participation of the concerned social organization or civil society, it can never move ahead. That's why the role of these civil societies and social organizations are really important. Social organizations can lead people in the right direction with the right type of consciousness, and social organizations also can mislead the people. That's why, in order to maintain peace and tranquility in the society, and in order to maintain peace and tranquility within the state, the role of these social organizations are really helpful. And without these social organizations, administration and even the ruling party cannot move ahead. Due to that, the contribution, help, and advice of the social organization may be required by the state and administration. And on the other hand, the administration should also know how to utilize this, social organization for maintaining peace and tranquility in the society. Due to that, this role of social organization is really, really useful, and its usefulness should also be known and recognized by the administration.
Sir, there is another question. It is from Barkha Pradhan. Good evening, sir. What can be the major factor in the present context for the continued assertion in Northeast India?
Actually, this is ongoing process. As we know, ethnic movement, ethnic tension is everywhere. I'm now in United States of America. And as I've mentioned in the initial stage, I'm dealing with the Native American tribes. So we know America is the first world, the most developed country, but even America is not free from this ethnicity and this ethnic mobilization. It is everywhere. That's why, so far as northeastern states are concerned, it is also ongoing development. But what we have to know is that the administration, social organization, and even from the academia, we should see that these should not develop into the degree which will be harmful for the society or which will be disturbance of peace and tranquility. In such a way, it is everywhere. It is in every part of the world also, but we should see to it that it should be contained, awareness should be created so that it should not develop into such circumstances where it will be harmful for our own growth and development.
Thank you, sir. There's another question from Dr. Janin Musahari, Bodoland University, Kokrajhar. He asked, why ethnic movements are still prevalent in Northeast India? Why ethnic movements are still...
I think I have just answered that. Anyway, let me add few points.
Yes, sir.
See, because of the growth and because of the development which is going on, and as there is consciousness among the non-blood related group, for example, if some community or if some ethnic group has got like some good prospect from the department, from the government, then the other ethnic group also they want. And in such a way, as human society is always in competitive mood. What others got, others also want to obtain that. In such a way, this ethnic movement may go on. As I've said, ethnic movement may go on, ethnic mobilization may go on, but we should be aware, even from academia, and we should know that this ethnic mobilization and ethnic movement should develop and should go in a democratic way, in a peaceful way, so that it may not lead to a circumstances where it is uncontrollable.
Thank you, sir. There's another one, which from Benedict Hajwari. He asked, Which approach should be applied in order to solve the ethnic problems in Northeast India? Which approach should be applied?
Actually, there is no hard and fast rule to suggest like mathematics and some scientific laws. We know in social science, our laboratory is so vast.
Yes, sir.
In physical science and in mathematics and all in physical science, they can solve their research question within the laboratory. But in social science, our laboratory is so vast. Our laboratory is the whole society. That's why we should keep on expanding. Whatever it is, we should know that democratic process and democratic method will be the best process for solving any ethnic issue.
So there's another question also from Mrs. Zarzozali. She asked, sir, do you think regionalism adds up to ethnic problems in the context of Mizoram? Regionalism adds up to ethnic problems in the context of Mizoram.
Yeah, that is the very point. See, as I've mentioned, like particularly out of the states of Northeast India, like Nagaland is predominantly dominated by the Naga ethnic group. Mizoram is predominantly dominated by the Zhou ethnic group. Arunachal is also predominantly dominated by Arunachali tribes. Then Meghalaya also by these ethnic like Garo, Khasis, and Janjas, they are the majority. But even in these, the same ethnic group dominated states, still there is sub-regionalism. For example, in the context of Mizoram also, as I've mentioned, the non-Zhou ethnic group are Bru and Chakma. But ethnic issue has been created not only by the Bru and Chakma. Even from the same Zhou ethnic group, I've mentioned, in the early 50s, the same Zhou ethnic group, Paite, demanded regional council. Then after that, in the 80s, the same Zhou ethnic group, Mal, demanded regional ADC under CESR. But those problems of Mal and Paite have been solved. And from time to time, from the southern part of Mizoram, the same Zhou ethnic group, Lai and Mara, sometimes they demanded union territory, sometimes they demanded direct funding, the thing which is never preempted in the Constitution of India, and sometimes they demanded higher political status. So even from the same ethnic group, because of this sub-regional feeling, because of this sub-regional issue, the ethnic issue has been mobilized. Ethnic issue is always there. And as I've said, and due to that, even from the same this ethnic group, this sub-regional issue is the main. And let me move over to Nagaland. In Nagaland also, I've mentioned about that Tonsang area. That Tonsang area, which was part of NEFA in Part D under CESR. And now, from that Tonsang area, 5 districts are already created. Tonsang, Mon, Kipiri, Longleng, and Noklak. And that Tonsang, the erstwhile Tonsang area, now they are demanding one state within Nagaland, Eastern Nagaland state. They are the same Naga tribe, but they are still demanding statehood. In such a way, because of this sub-regional feeling, ethnic mobilization, ethnic issue has been created, even from the same ethnic group. That is the example for in the case of Mizoram and Nagaland. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Last question is there. Jiten Dole. He asked, which are the real ethnic group in Northeast India? Which are the real
Raki, will you please repeat the question?
Which are the real ethnic group in Northeast India? From Jiten Dole.
The real ethnic group. The question is so vague. If it is defined as the real, like, for example, there are who share from generation to generation the real native people or indigenous people. Yeah. What I mean to understand is that I think he may mean who are the indigenous people or the native people.
Most
The
right.
real ethnic group means like, for example, we have some who are immigrants from outside, like Adivasis or some tribes from Jharkhand. They they were transported here during British period to work in tea garden and all, and they are now known as tea tribes. And like some Gorkhali may come from outside the state, and some may come from the erstwhile East Bengal, and they settle here. And in such a way, those who there are people who are not the immigrants, who are the indigenous people, the native people. And after that, immigrants also came. But immigrants also, they have their own native identity. They are the real ethnic group. In such a way, whether people are native or immigrants, if they maintain their ethnicity, they are real ethnic group. But so far as northeastern states are concerned, there are people who are the indigenous group, but there are some who immigrated from outside. Like so far as Lusai Hills is concerned, the different ethnic tribes, they are the real indigenous people, the native people. Then maybe like some Chakma and Bru, they immigrated in the territory, but they still form the ethnic group, the real ethnic group. Likewise, in Naga Hills also, then in Meghalaya also, there may be indigenous people, or they may be immigrants who come from outside. The same in Arunachal Pradesh also, there may be people who are the indigenous, and likewise in every state. But so far as this real ethnic is concerned, if people still maintain their ethnicity, they are the real ethnic group. In such a way, I think the question is a bit complex. That's why I add some addition. Okay,
Thank
over to you, Rakhi.
Okay. Thank you, sir. It is very valuable. The questions are also, it's like it's highly enlightened. And now I would like, thank you, sir, for giving your precious time. Now I'd like to ask our Sarvajit sir, the coordinator of the IQAC, to deliver the presidential remark. Sir, please.
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Kamakhya Prasad Tasa, sir, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. Honorable Principal, Haflong Government College, Mrs. Madhumita Daulabupu, and very respected Professor Jangkongam Dongil, Professor in Political Science, Mizoram University, Fulbright Senior Research Fellow, Department of Political Science, University of Cincinnati, and the organizing committee, Dr. Akimani Gogoi, Dr. Dipan Das, Dr. Jogesh Das, and Lieutenant Dr. Loilong Tianglini Nampui, and all the participants. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who participated in this virtual discussion. And with few hiccups with the network, everything was so very fine. And myself, being from zoology background, today's discourse by respected Professor Jangkongam Dongil, it was very, very informative, and it was enlightening, and everyone must have benefited from sir's discourse today. And but first, I would like to thank Dr. Akimoni Gogoi, because she approached me for this webinar, and in a very short time, within a week, this webinar was organized. And to the whole team, as well as to all the participants, and especially to Kamakhya Prasad Tasaji and Professor Jangkongam Dongil, very, very thank you for whatever we have discussed. And now back to Rakhi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now the last part of the session, vote of thanks. I would like to request Lieutenant Dr. Lelung Tianglimi Nampui of the Department of Political Science, Haflong Government College, to give vote of thanks. Over to you, Lily.
Thank you, Madam. Good evening to everyone. Honorable dignitaries and distinguished guests, our respected Principal Ma'am, and all participant members of our today's webinar. I, on behalf of the Department of Political Science, Haflong Government College, and organizing members, take immense pleasure to propose this vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank our eminent resource person, Professor Zangkhongam Dongel, Department of Political Science, Mizoram University, and Fulbright Senior Research Fellow, Department of Political Science, University of Cincinnati, Ohio State, United States of America, for taking out his valuable time despite his busy schedule to grace this webinar with his exemplary relevant address on the topic ethnicity and ethnic mobilization in Northeast India. Thank you so much, sir, for your informative and thought-provoking insight into the topic. I would also express my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Member of Parliament, Sri Kamakhya Prasad Tasaji, Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha, for his precious time and helping us in inaugurating the program with his inspiring speech. Sir, your presence was indeed heartening. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to our Principal Ma'am, who, whose unfaltering support, encouragement, and also confidence in us has helped us in organizing this international webinar. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your profound motivation and opportunity. I also take this opportunity to thank the Center for Ethnic Studies and Research, Guwahati, for your helpful and fruitful association in organizing this webinar. I also thank our IQAC coordinator, Haflong Government College, Dr. Sarbajit Thausen, Department of Geology, for the immediate and supportive consent for the organization of this international webinar. I also take the opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to our technical coordinator, Dr. Jogesh Das, the Assistant Professor of MDKG College, Dibrugarh. Sir, thank you so much for all the technical support provided. It is through his expert handling we were able to have a smooth conduct of this webinar. So thank you so much, sir. Specifically on this webinar, I would like to make mention of our friend, Dr. Dipen Das. I express my sincere thanks to him, who is our joint coordinator and also assistant professor, R.G. Barwa College, Guwahati, who has contributed a lot as a guiding light to our department in organizing this webinar. He has been exceptionally helpful. So, sir, we deeply appreciate your help and support in organizing this international webinar. Last but not the least, my deep sense of appreciation to all the participants who chose to be live with us in this Zoom meeting and attended the webinar despite having network issues in between. You had been a great audience. Thank you for your great enthusiasm and patient hearing. And it has been a productive session, and this has been possible because of your cooperation. So thank you all participants for making it a fascinating and engaging webinar. Once again, thank you all for being with us in this wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Limi. Thank you, sir, Dongel sir. Thank you, Dr. Sarbajit Thausen sir. Thank you, Madhumita Vedu. Thank you, Dipen and Jogesh. Now it is over, I think. The webinar